The reason I don't think that it presents well to say I'm a feminist is because, number one, feminism already has such a clear meaning and definition for people.
Does it?
It really
doesn't.
Does. But based on what you guys say about feminism, it doesn't, because you say things that are completely at odds with what I hear actual people my age who are in college, what they think about it. It doesn't seem like you're really
What do people your age think about it, about feminism?
They don't think that it's a conspiracy being, like an anti-natalist, satanic conspiracy.
They're uninformed.
I think you might have a little something going on. But I think that's...
Listen,
hold
right?
on.
No.
You got to qualify that statement a little bit.
She's calling me crazy, even though it's well documented that Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent.
I back you up, girl. I think you have a little conspiracy-minded thing going on where you're looking for a conspiracy and everything.
No, I just am informed and educated, and I'm not arrogant enough to assume that my ignorance means that somebody else is crazy. But
I mean, I can also say
like.
I'm informed and educated, and we can go back and forth saying that forever.
Well, so do you know then that what she's saying about Gloria Steinem is not only correct, but that through the Congress for Cultural Freedom in the 60s and 70s, the CIA was pushing feminism through like 40 different publications around the world. They sent, people to festivals.
So what if Gloria Steinem was like a CIA operative? Gloria Steinem's not the only feminist in the world.
No, I'm saying it's not just her. I'm saying the Congress for Cultural Freedom, which was a widespread CIA program that went around the world in dozens of countries and had hundreds of magazines, newspaper outlets, all pushing feminism. This was not just like one lady. This was like a broad effort during the Cold War to kind of differentiate Western liberal values from Russia. So they pushed feminism and the sexual revolution.
Are you anti like classical liberalism and Western liberal values?
Yes, I absolutely am.
Okay,
yeah.
But you're also anti-communist. I'm very curious maybe that's off topic, but
you can be both.
You can be both communist and
you can be
liberal?
Against communism and against Western liberalism.
I don't mean liberalism in like liberal versus
classical
conservative.
liberalism,
Yeah.
which is the American
that?
founding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm against that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go for it.
I was just gonna say that I believe that you guys can be completely correct. Like everything you're saying is correct, and how feminism is a psyop. I'm saying psyop back. I feel like that's the best.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think I just disagree that would be the best way. That's all.
I just don't see a better route because I have the same experience. I've never had any friends who are genuine like feminists who read literature say that they're pro casual sex and that it's really healthy for women to do that. I've never ever heard that ever.
Well, here's what you guys need to understand is that feminism is anything that pushes back against patriarchy and moves toward egalitarianism. So if you think the sexes are equal, we should all have equal rights, so we can get into rights and what you think that all means, but anybody who is saying patriarchy is bad is feminist, whether they identify or know that or not. So if you think that just like, we have to push for women to be equal with men and women have been historically oppressed, that's all feminism, whether you think it is or not.
Well, for like egalitarianism and stuff, from my understanding, you believe that egalitarianism means that men and women are just on equal planes? Or?
It means that they should have like equal rights and equality of, some people would say equality of outcome, some people would say equality of opportunity. Doesn't really
but it's on an
me.
Equality of outcome now, is what they mean by it.
Let me think. I have to think. I'm sorry.
I just don't think that you guys will ever successfully convince, or whatever movement or not movement you want to be a part of, will ever successfully convince the female population that they should not at least
I agree with you, which is why...
Fight for what? Sorry, continue.
Fight for egalitarianism, whatever that means to them.
What is it that women don't have now? What is it that women don't have now that men have?
I'm not saying that there is an imbalance currently or is or isn't. I'm saying that I don't think
But do you understand the problem? We'll never be able to convince women to not fight for something that they already have.
If they already have it, then what about this problem you're talking about where women are allowing men to mistreat them?
Correct.
Because women, the rates of like depression among women are so unhappy, and it's gone like there's a direct correlation with levels of unhappiness of women documented.
Okay, so it sounds like women have something that men don't have, which you're claiming is not true.
But hold on a second. No. Don't do that. You're shifting tides. First of all, you said that women, that you'll never be able to stop. You'll never be able to convince women to stop fighting for equal rights. And I said, what is it that we don't have that men have in that department? Now, what she's pointing out is a consequence of that very fight, because the supposed...
Really?
Well, it's a consequence of the
How
feminism.
can you say that? There's a ton of
Because
correlates
because it correlates directly with the rise of the movement.
but it also correlates with time passing. It correlates with a bunch of 9/11. You could blame it on
correlation
a bunch of
does
random
not-
things.
70s? Do you know what year 9/11 happened?
Well, you didn't mention the 70s. I'm saying you could. I'm saying you could literally point to any random event that happened throughout history and say, well, this is why women started becoming
You're
unhappy.
100% correct. The correlation does not equal causation. However, there is strong connection between these things that we see women who continue along the path that, so quote unquote, feminism would get you to. By the way, the extreme of feminism, because I did study feminism, is a lesbian separatist feminism in which they want to live on an island away from men, use them for their semen, only keep the female. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing. You
Now,
guys can
I'm
look it up.
familiar with
Use their
lesbian
bone
separatism.
You can look it up.
I'm familiar with
My
female
issue
separatism.
is, number one, I don't think men and women should be at each other's throats, and this goes for the right-wing movement too, which is a little bit of your podcast, where they set
We'll get into that.
they set men up to see women as these evil, like, manipulative creatures, and then women are set up to see men as these, like, evil, tyrannical, power-hungry creatures. How there are both of these things within the population. I've had experience with both of them. I'm not saying they don't exist, but however, to have a movement that continually tells women this is what they want from you sets us up to be unhappy, because I believe we are made to be in partnership with the other sex and not at war with them.
I think my problem with just what you're saying in general is I think we're diagnosing the same issue. But
Not McKin Money Offer Podcast donated $200. Please redirect the conversation to the left-hand corner of the table. I have a really high run on the number of likes for this show. Shut up, leptonic woman in black.
Make me, bitch.
anyway, so I was just saying, I think that we have the same, like, we're diagnosing the same problem. Would you agree with that?
I'm not sure.
I'm saying that my problem is that I think that men are taking advantage of women via casual sex in the sexual revolution.
Correct. I also think men themselves are a victim of this propaganda.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I'm just saying I don't see an effective solution for it other than what I've proposed, and I don't see
which is
giving
hijacking
one.
feminine. I did give one. I said I believe that we should approach women with compassion, raise their consciousness so they can truly understand
but
the problem.
How? What would be the way to do that?
Well, this is one way. Education, speaking up.
They could read my book and find out the truth about how all of this went down, and that it wasn't this grassroots movement where women looked around in the 1800s and went, oh my God, we're oppressed. We have to march in the streets until we have voting rights and bank accounts. And that it was just this thing that's time had come, because it's complete bullshit. It's not true, and that's not how it happened. It was an astroturf movement from the beginning, from the 1700s, or even further back if you want to go there. So this idea that there is even such a thing as like, oh, we can have women's rights and egalitarianism only at the behest of the men who are going to enforce it for you anyway.
Well,
so like, I think if you just get through to women about some of these things, it will help. But also, do we really want to like depend on turning the opinion of women toward how things ought to be?
Well, I think that
I don't know about that.
I mean, I'm only referring to the sexual revolution. Like, I'm not talking necessarily about egalitarianism or anything. I mean, you say we approach women with compassion.
Correct.
And I mean, I think the women who are reading your book are probably already agree with you.
Correct.
And yeah.
No. I get messages every single day from women around the world who thought they were picking it up to debunk it. I'm going to prove this bitch wrong. And then they read and they go, shit. They check the source material and they're like, damn, she's right. And then it changes their mind.
Well, I'm sure people can be, I'm sure that a lot of people will read it and agree with you and change their minds. I'm just saying that wouldn't the most effective way to change people's minds who are already feminists be telling women you are being oppressed because of this same thing that we're all agreeing on?
We can tell them it's bad for them, but that doesn't mean they're going to listen, especially when they're young and the entire culture is, Leonardo
Wait, so
said,
what's
is
your
saturated
prescription?
with it.
My prescription is by basically psyoping feminism, because I mean
What do you
She
mean
wants to
by
hijack feminism and turn it.
hijack feminism?
yeah. So